I think food actually represents part of the culture. You have the culture background about how they created the food. So about the local, it's really hard to talk about Canadian food because Canada only has 200 years background. It's really hard to define the local food. It's like Western food or Chinese food.
Richmond food being local, in terms of being Canadian, is probably not that local. But if you're talking about local as in the traditional way of food being prepared by the residents of Richmond, it is quite authentic. And hence I would say it is quite local to the people who are opening these restaurants and running these businesses.
I heard a lot of people from the East Coast say that Oriental food or Asian food there isn't very authentic because we do have a lot of immigrants from decades ago when Canada was still, developing, and they were able to develop their own taste and they were able to, stay true to their roots. So I would say that Richmond has the most authentic Asian restaurants and they have the most authentic taste.
We enjoy coming to Richmond just to enjoy the food here. I do think that Richmond is different from a lot of other parts of Vancouver because in one place you can find a variety of different Asian food. We really enjoy like the bubble tea and a lot of fresh fruit, especially a lot of like icy desserts, things like that. One thing I like about Asian food and Asian culture in general is that people are more collectivist rather than individualistic, and I think that comes out in the food. Food is much more of a social experience in Asian culture versus North American culture, which is more like British influenced. People are quieter, less social, more introverted.
I like coming to Richmond to eat because I feel like there's a bigger variety of Asian food here than I can get in Vancouver or Burnaby. And it's probably more authentic, although I've never been to China or Japan. I think that a lot of the people here have come from Asia recently, so they wouldn't have changed the way they cook the food that much, and they would notice if it was different.
Food in Richmond is very attractive and compelling because it's kind of like a big Chinatown. Like if you were to live in Vancouver and you wanted Chinese food, you'll find the best in Richmond most likely.
Well, I love the food in Richmond because it's so diverse. There's so many different options to choose from. And because I live in Surrey, if I want congee or some fresh dumplings or some, good quality bubble tea, I'm not going to find that in Surrey. Coming to Richmond, there's so many different options to choose from, and that's what I really love about it. Food is definitely a social thing for me. It's through my friends and my family that I get to try and experience new types of food. Being a white girl from Surrey, I don't often get to come to Richmond, but after playing an ultimate frisbee game with all of my friends, we get to go out and try Vietnamese food, Taiwanese food, so many different types. And I would prefer to eat with somebody than to eat alone.
Food is social because everyone grows up, everyone's busy, but then the one thing that brings everyone together is family time, and family time most of the time is dinner time. Family time is social time to me.
I like to be in groups, so I don't like to eat by myself. So for me, I prefer to eat out somewhere. To be able to go out and enjoy a lot of different foods, I think is very positive.
The great thing about food culture in Richmond especially is that it's managed to stay remarkably very similar to its roots. And I mean that in contrast to a lot of different places, not just Vancouver, not just Canada, but all over the various countries and cities at least that I've been to. As more people come in and as the city grows, people start looking for more and more, and they try to become more sophisticated, and sometimes at the risk of losing the very culture that is defined. When you're going to a large city like, let's say, New York, and you're seeing that everything is an import, sometimes you want to come back. Sometimes you want to come back home, and sometimes you want to come back specifically to places like Richmond where you know the food is the food that you've eaten in your childhood. And that's something I think that no matter who you are and no matter where you are in life, everyone has a similar feeling.